Abigail Anthony, and I just passed out as a 12th grade student at Kunskapsskolan Lucknow. I was able to become the school topper and hence would like to share my journey with you to help you on yours as well. The KED system allows you to set goals, which honestly at the beginning I didn't think they were as important, but as my school journey progressed, I realized that goals are really important to have because you can track where you are in each single subject. You're given workshops, so you're given time, you're given liberty, and I love the way the teachers teach. It's a very open approach and you're able to question back and forth, get your questions answered as you learn. And as a person who always has so many questions to ask, it can be very, very useful to have that in a teaching surrounding, and that's when KED really comes into play. The reason I was able to score good marks in painting especially was because I think painting as a subject requires a lot of practice, and I practiced endlessly, whether it was drawing circles or sketching. It's a subject where you have to really put in your effort. For psychology specifically, I always say work smarter, not harder. So I went for the keywords and I would study exactly what had to be written in the exam, so I didn't crowd my brain with too much information. And when you're studying for these exams, it's very important to keep in mind to not go too far ahead when you're studying and to just make sure that you're reading the important parts. When it comes to Kunskapsskolan, we're given so much liberty with workshops especially, and I think that a lot of the homework that you have, you can do it in those workshops because I used to sit with my friends personally and we used to do our homework together, even if it was different subjects. And at home, most of the time, I would take that time to do either project work or to study. And I think that it's really important to always have a hobby that you love on the side of studies so that your brain is able to sort of take a break and relax as you go back to studies. And that's how you're able to keep that balance and not overcrowd yourself so much. As a person who loves to express her frustrations, whenever I had issues, whether it was getting a mark that I didn't really like or whether it was project work, I would always approach my teacher and tell them my frustrations, and we would always come up with a strategy to deal with it. Because remember, every single problem can be solved, and I think that that's really important to know. And it's important to talk to your family also about the struggles you're facing in school to keep everybody informed. As a KED student, we are given a platform to plan absolutely everything, and to have liberty to plan is really great because you can sit there, add your goals, and I like to think of it as sort of a game, as how much can I achieve this week, how many things can I tick off, to what percentage am I able to do this week. And I think that that really helps to have that mindset and to think of goals not as obstacles, but to think of them as things that help us achieve more in the future, because that's the whole point, to achieve the ultimate goal. So that's why we set tiny goals in KED, to achieve our ultimate goal. To prepare for my boards, I made sure that I started earlier than others. So I started around 2 months before my board exams. I first made online notes for the first month. So I sketched out what exactly I had to study, what I found hard. And I think that really helps you understand the subject personally, because as far as teaching goes, it makes you grasp the concept, but ultimately you have to sit down and remember said concept. So to remember these concepts, I made a lot of flashcards. I tried to make it interesting, and it can get mundane at times, but I think that it's just nice to know that this is the end and we're going to get there ultimately. And in places where I found myself kind of very stressed out, I made sure before each exam to sit down with a song I'd like, and I'd close my eyes, no revision, just sit down and make sure that I'm in a good environment before I gave my exam so I could give it with the utmost attention and peace. I think as parents, it's really important to understand the pressure that your child is going through when they're giving their exams. My parents especially, they made sure to give me my space and my environment to study, and it wouldn't matter how much I studied or whether I studied or not, but the fact that they saw me working hard and knowing that I was doing as much as I possibly could really helped. They used to provide me with everything I needed, and especially before exams, we would all sit down and pray and talk. And I think that having a really open surrounding, whether not after you to study, but when you take your own responsibility to do really, really well, is important, because you in your heart know that this is your goal and you have to achieve it. And when everybody around you is supporting that goal, it can be very helpful. So obviously I haven't been the most perfect student throughout, because I feel like that's a bit robotic. And I think one mistake I made was just not reading my material enough. Like, I would study, but I would not sit with my book, just me and my book, and study. So I think when you're first approaching boards, first getting into 12th grade, it's really important to understand that at the end of the day, it is really going to be you and that textbook. So to get to know it, to familiarize yourself with it, is really important. And just know that you will do well ultimately, and believing in yourself is so important. It can be very hard to believe in yourself, but I think that if you just try and tell yourself that yes, I can really do it, and you push yourself towards that goal, that you'll be able to achieve everything you've wished for.